Hello, world. Welcome to the first episode of America, You're So Crazy. I am your host, Miles V. I'm here with my co-host,
Reggie. What's up, man? King Reggie.
I think, what happened to Reginald? Reginald?
No, it's King Reggie. It's King Reggie VCR at this point. I can't find anything else.
It's all right. Anyway, guys, we're happy to start this new show with you guys. We've been talking about this show for over a year, and we were trying to figure out the best way. We want to be able to communicate these things with you because there's so much that's happening on this side of the world, and they just be like, oh my God, why are things this crazy? America, you're so crazy. You're so crazy. You know, and a lot of things happening this week. You know, like this week, one of the biggest things on my news feed, especially on Twitter, was the deep fakes. The deep fakes, if you don't know what a deep fake is, there's a software that's AI, it's fully functioned by AI. I'm over here. I'm drawing a blank on what AI means. Artificial intelligence. So it's a software that's run by artificial intelligence where you get the software to focus on a face and you replace that face with somebody else's face. And at first it was all fun and games. People would put a Nicolas Cage face on everybody and be like, it's Nicolas Cage face on everybody. And then somebody had the bright idea like, hey, how about we just take actresses' faces and put them on porn stars? And then all hell broke loose. So now we got places like Twitter, Pornhub, and a whole bunch of other places, Reddit, where they're trying to ban it now before it becomes a serious thing. Because it's creepy because, one, now anybody can be put in a weird encounter. Like, they could literally take anybody and make it seem like they're having sex with anybody at this point. And, people are just like, damn, what did this mean? What if somebody want to do some revenge porn shit and you wasn't even in the video to begin with? And, stuff like that. Yeah. So it's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy. And
what was your first, what did you think about it? Like, when you first saw it, what was your reaction to it?
Now, when I first saw it, I'm like, man, this is nothing new, because I remember when we was kids and the internet was like not brand new, but everybody had the AOL, the MSN and whatnot. Yeah. Those porn sites had like Photoshop pics of like Britney Spears or somebody doing something crazy. So at first I'm thinking, man, that's nothing new. But then I saw a video and I was like, oh no, this is a problem. Like some of the videos weren't that great. Like because the outline of the person's face may still be there. But there were some videos where it was like spot on. Like they made sure they matched the porn star to the actress. Like you can't tell the difference because if they're so similar. Like I saw this video of Taylor Swift and I was like, oh my God, this looks like Taylor Swift is getting fucked the shit out of right now. I was like, no. This is scary. This is scary because.
So what's been the reaction online?
Well, it's weird. You got two groups of people basically. Because I read the comments. I don't know if anybody else does this on porn sites. I read comments on the porn site. I'm just curious to see what people say and what they like and stuff.
Yeah, I like this right here. I like this anal. I like this shit.
So you got a few people that's like on the fence about it, like, oh no, this is creepy, like, oh, it's fake, so how you gonna enjoy it? Then you got the other guys like, dude, you're whacking it to your hand, pretending it's a pussy. Are you really gonna care if it's fake or not? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So but it's scary because a lot of these artists are, their public persona.
I'm not even thinking about artists. Think about the average person, the average girl who posts 100 selfies a week.
Yeah, she can get caught up. Get caught up early, and then they can send that video around any social media outlets, and it's over.
Right, and they're like, oh, it's real.
Yeah, it's real. She a thought. She doing this.
Imagine anybody who's
bad.
President in the future.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who want to do anything that's going to affect in the future.
Definitely,
it can affect anybody.
You're definitely right about that.
And at first, for me, I'm just looking at it as a filmmaker. I'm like, oh, maybe this would be a cheaper way to do visual effects and stuff like that. But now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, no, this is the devil.
Nah,
this is the devil.
I was just thinking about when you said it about like artists, just say Rihanna, and they put her face somewhere. Right. This can destroy someone. Right. This can destroy a new artist.
Yeah.
Let's say a new artist come out with a hot song. She's all over the place, and then somebody want to hate and destroy her career, and then put her out there. Right. And it's over. They're gonna be like, oh yeah.
And they could try to fight it and prove that there's nothing wrong with the video, but the way
it's hard.
Yeah, with the internet, it's like people where you focus on the headlines the first week, and then when you try to rebuttal it the following week to prove your innocence, people don't forget about it and they accept the last story. Like, no, they're a pedophile. That's cool. That's all right. We're ready. It's not cool to be a pedophile. I don't mean. What I'm saying is that people will accept the knowledge that they got before, even if it's fake news. Like this will help fake news even more. Yes. And so somebody who's like trying to become like the president, they can say, oh, he's a pedophile, create a video of him being a pedophile, and then he have to go through so much to prove himself innocent by the time he finally, probably weeks on end, where they had to prove his innocence, people may forgot all about it and don't even accept that he fixed his image. They just said, "No, I saw the video with a kid, man. That happened. That really happened." And it's sad. It's sad where things go into. And
so what else going on in the world?
Another thing that's going on, we got Amazon competing with FedEx and UPS now. Because my guess is, I guess they got tired of how things are being shipped and like, you know what? If you guys can't do it right, we'll do it ourselves. So now they're like, all right, we're going to start shipping our own packages now. And which is great because they're like, yo, Jeff, who are you not competing against with at this point? You competing against the studios. They're not producing music.
That's what...
He's a Silicon Valley god?
He's a god. And I think a lot of people don't realize that he wants to take over. Right. Like, he's going to take over every single thing.
Once he got Whole Foods, I knew he was going to take over.
Whole Foods is over.
Right.
It's over at this point.
Right. Opening the Amazon Go
he's food. Mm-hmm. He's, I think he's lacking on content of videos and movies and original content. Yeah, I think they're working on that, but I think Netflix is on a whole higher level of that.
Yeah, Netflix
and I feel like
Hulu had a head start.
Hulu's doing their thing, trying to do their thing.
Especially now that Disney owns majority of it now. It's gonna be Hulu's gonna be right after Netflix now. So Amazon is probably gonna be number 3 or lower.
Yeah, I feel like they just taking over. Mm-hmm. Like in the new stores they're opening up now, where you can they have 4 different they have 4 new. They're doing this 2-day shipping thing with their stores, Whole Foods,
right,
in 4 different locations. I believe it's Texas. In Texas, it's Dallas, it's Austin, and it's in Virginia. Right. I can't remember the 4th one, but they are 2-day shipping. So you can go online and you're in that certain location, and you can say, "Yo, I need all my groceries," right, and all your groceries will be delivered to you in 2 days from that Whole Foods. Right. So they're starting off and seeing how it works with different people. And, Whole Foods in a lot of expensive areas. Right. So you're not going to find a Whole Foods in Compton somewhere. Right. But most Whole Foods are in, well-off type of people areas. So these people have no problem doing that. Right. And then, I feel like Amazon is going to do something. I feel like they're taking over the game in so many ways that we can't stop them. Right. You cannot stop them right now. The only person who can stop them is the government. Right. That's it. And I don't even think the government want to stop them right now.
Nah, not with Trump.
Trump ain't worried about them.
Trump, if he get a check out of that, he'll give them the White House.
Yeah. Just say his name. Just say he's a billionaire. His name is Trump.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
Right. Speaking of Trump, so we just saw Dirty Money, a Netflix documentary. Well, it's a documentary series, and they have an episode on Trump.
Last episode, check it out. It's the last episode, episode 6.
Episode 6, and to me, like, even though for years I've known what kind of businessman Trump really is, but after this documentary, you can connect the dots of what made him get into the White House to begin with, because if you. We're born in the 90s, so we did not see what happened 20 years before us, okay? Yes. So we're part of the Apprentice generation, where all we know of Trump was The Apprentice and the occasional cameos you'll see like in Fresh Prince or something like that. Yes. We like Home Alone 2. We're not.
It doesn't matter as an actor.
As an actor. He's a media personality. Yes. We didn't know the man as a businessman in the 80s and everything. So through this documentary, we was able to learn a little bit more, because I've read books about Trump, and I can guarantee you, this stuff is not in these books at all. They skip all of those parts.
I think as Americans, we have a short memory of this guy. Mm-hmm. Like when in the documentary, he got a casino and everything.
What is a casino? Wait, what happened? To make it quick, a long story short. After he did his first 1 or 2 buildings in the city, like 2 or 3 buildings he did in the city, all these banks were like, "Oh, we got some money for you, because you apparently know what you're doing." So everybody threw money at him, and he went and took this money, started airlines, started a football team, and it started a couple casinos. And from there, things just went out of control.
Yeah, so he went to the casinos. He went to Atlantic City, started buying up land in Atlantic City. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. The bank gave him $3 billion. $3 billion. And he lost that money in a year and a half. How is that possible? How did we let him become president of the United States? If you lose $3 billion in a year, you are not a responsible human being.
But like you said, you know, we got
He's
to
not a responsible human being.
America got short attention span. They forget things early.
Very short.
What it is because he's king of the private labels.
Yes, he is the king of the private.
That alone made him look successful. He is no different from a hip hop rapper who claims they got bread. Because for years he's like, yeah, I'm a billionaire, and then you check his record, there's like only 200 million in his account. Which I'm not saying it's not a lot of money. I'm saying it's not a billion, and that's what he wanted. He wanted the bill.
I feel like a lot of people, like Trump tricked us. He's a con artist. He's the god. He's the con artist. He is the biggest con artist that ever lived.
He's a marketer at the end of it. That's what I feel like. He's the 80s version of Ty Lopez.
But if you really think about how many failing businesses he had and been bankrupt, why would we want him to be the president of the United States?
Well, we didn't vote for him.
I get that. But Republicans, why would you want a man that lost $3 billion and we're already in debt in America? Why would we want him to be president?
I think what it was more of a scare tactic. Everybody was so focused on Hillary winning that they were just like, yo, I'd rather take my... Remember, we just came from the Obama presidency. You got a whole bunch of rednecks from somewhere like, oh, so we're going from a black man, now we're going to a woman. No, I'll take my chances with Trump. I'm telling you, that's what happened.
I think we're just, like I said, I think as Americans we have a short term. We don't live. We forget about things.
We don't fact check.
We don't fact check. We just. I mean, if a lot of people knew that he lost $3 billion, I feel like he would not be president of the United States right now, and maybe Hillary Clinton will be president. But this guy, he's a loose cannon, and he's a big liar. That's the biggest problem.
That's the biggest issue.
He's a big liar. He had the university, he had Trump University, and he was starting off all right, and then he just had these ridiculous prices, told these people to go home if they didn't have the money, and go home, and they need to go call their credit card company and tell their credit card company, yo, can I have some more money, Some people came back. Some of these people were single moms with 3 kids, and they came back and gave the man $35,000 for a course. Yeah, online.
No, it wasn't online. This is where when people still showed up to these things. It's not like the Ty Lopez stuff where you pay watching on your computer. Nah, that's today. This was like a good 10 years ago, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, when people were still showing up to the seminars and conferences and sitting there and paying with their good money. And I'm not saying Trump is the only one who's done it, because Rich Dad who did it. What happened? I realized what these guys make where they mess up. They take this private label thing too far and just license their name to anybody, and these guys run with it. And all they care about is the check at the end of the day. Like, I'm getting my check, I don't care. And that's what Trump is doing right now with all these buildings. Like, yo, my name's on it. I got $5 million for that. I'm cool. And now he's doing all these. Basically, he's letting all these people from overseas who are like gangsters and got mob ties and all this stuff, he's basically letting them launder their money through his name.
Yes.
Because they play.
A lot of Russians. A lot of Russians.
Not just the Russians. You got the Philippines.
Yes, the Philippines.
You got the Turkey.
You got the Turkeys, but it's been a lot of Russians is backing him. And where he got his money from now is he can't get no money from no banks in America. He only can get it from Russia. Mm-hmm. So that's why everything is seeming like he did something wrong. I can't say if he did or not. I have no clue.
Well, I think it's wrong. He's monetizing being president. Now, I'm not saying nobody ever monetizes being president, because presidents get to do, they have biopics. They get, autobiographies. Yes. So I'm not saying nobody monetized being president before. But this is the first time in a long time where you see somebody goes, hey, yeah, I'm president. Buy my barbecue sauce. Buy my steaks. Stay in my hotels.
But I feel like, it's kind of different, because this is the first president we have who had a business. So most of the other presidents we had didn't have businesses. Mm-hmm. And he's always going to look out for his brand. He's a selfish individual. He's going to care about Trump. That's it. It's all about Trump. It ain't about nobody else. He don't care about nobody else. He just cares about his daughter and his kids and his wife, and that's it. And a lot of people need to realize that.
Does he care about his kids? Because if you remember in the document, there's a picture of one of the Russian guys. He got his hand and stuff near like Ivanka's crotch, and Trump is just looking at him like, all right, as long as I get my check. And we got even Quincy Jones doing interviews talking about he dated Ivanka too.
For real?
Yeah, he said he dated Ivanka. That man,
that old man.
Oh man, if you hear this article, you got to read the article. You got to read the Quincy Jones article. He got on everybody. He got on everybody.
Is he just being
a bitter old man?
Bitter old man.
That's what I want to believe. But some of the stuff, some was like confirmation for me. Like, oh, I feel
like when people get older and they start talking, reckless, I think they're just become bitter old people.
Right.
Like, if you said this when you were younger and you were speaking this tune all this time, then I could believe you. But when you wait till you 70-something years old, 60-something years old, talking all this junk, now I'm not going to believe you. So I don't know if none of that's true.
Right.
You could just say, yeah, I messed with his daughter one time.
Right, he said dated. Dated. That doesn't mean you actually had sex.
Yeah. Dated his daughter or whatever. What else he said in the article? I really don't know.
He talked about everybody. He talked about Michael Jackson stealing from other artists like Donna Summer with the song State of Independence. Where the way the song starts, it's almost similar to how Billie Jean starts, but the tempo is like a little bit different. Like it's a lot slower and everything like that. With Michael's version, yes. Michael wouldn't give certain guys credit on the song. Like the guy did a C-section for "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." Michael wouldn't give him the 10% of publishing. He said Michael was Machiavellian. He brought up the fact that Marlon Brando smashed Richard Pryor and a couple of other guys and whatnot. And he said it was like Marvin Gaye and the other, but I don't know. Well, I kind of knew Marvin was probably that way. But if anything, like when it comes to Richard and Marlon, I had no connection between them ever smashing. But I think it's known fact that Marlon Brando was gay or bi, and I've definitely seen footage of Richard Pryor talking about having sex with men. So it's not like news.
But the problem I have with, like I said, I don't like when people come out and be a bitter old man.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, no, bro. He was better. He was talking about rappers. He the rappers these days. They don't know what a real musician is. These the guys who still playing jazz, only playing jazz to make Ciroc commercials now. Like he was talking shit about everybody.
Nah, that means he's about to die.
He was like Bond.
That means he's about to die.
The Beatles were the worst musicians he ever heard.
Nah.
U2 can never make a great hit, and he said he loved Bono. Bono's his man, but they can never make a great hit in this era.
Was he drunk?
I don't know. It's an article. It's not like we can hear it. See.
I really want to. I'm really fascinated by it. I'm gonna read this article.
I wish they shot this interview.
They should have did some video
because
I want to see.
They need to take this on the road before he's gone.
I want to. He must be. I don't know. He must be sick or something.
Probably.
Because I can't see a bitter old man like Quincy Jones just coming out of nowhere talking all this shit now.
Right.
Now, like, a lot of people do it. Mm-hmm. Like I remember, what's this guy who's with Whitney Houston?
Oh, Bobby?
No, not Bobby. The white dude who managed.
Clive Davis.
Clive Davis came out talking about now he's bi or gay or some shit like that a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think some people just wait until they know they're out the game to start talking. Mm-hmm. Maybe. But I just don't like that.
Yeah, but Quincy ain't snitch on himself. He snitched on everybody else, but he ain't snitch on himself. Because it's not like he was sitting there confirming what Professor Griff been saying all these years or whatnot about him being a booty band and all that stuff. That's what I was waiting for. So are we going to get that confirmation right now? Because Professor Griff been saying this for years and we got no confirmation yet. But we ain't get that yet. But he pulled everybody else's business out.
I don't think that's right. I don't think you should do that. That's not right.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. But I do appreciate what he was saying about jazz musician, well, any musician in general. He's like, any musician past Michael's era basically ain't shit, basically.
I have an interesting question. Do you think that, music goes through its stages of change and how the 90s music is different from the 70s music? Mm-hmm. Where do you think music is going to be 20 years from now? Like, do you think it's going to be, if you think rap is going to succeed country music or pop at this point? Because now in mainstream media, they talk about hip hop has reached its highest point. And I'm just sitting around like, yo, hip hop is because people are realizing that hip hop is the cash cow of music. It is a international sensation. Mm-hmm. People love it. And they always did love it. Right. You just didn't respect it.
Right.
Do you think 20 years from now, hip hop will kill rock and roll or kill?
Well, it's not going to kill rock and roll.
Kill those things, but be the cash cow of the universal music.
I'm looking at music.
And then what do you think music gonna sound like? Like just Just a guess. I just
I
said 10 years from
I
now.
can't
10
guess
years
what it's
from
going
now.
to sound like because I couldn't guess what it was going to sound like now. But the way that I see it now, every media is almost becoming like fast food in a way. You know, like that you get the media and it's gone as soon as you get it. You know what I mean? Like nothing stays. There's like no value in most entertainment anymore. You know what I mean? So when I'm thinking about the future of music or the future of film or entertainment in general, we're gonna have the few artists that have us go, oh, that's art. That's a work of art, you know, and then, but they're going to be like, that's like maybe 25% of the entertainment industry. Then you got the 75%, which is just basically jumping on each trend, doing remakes, reboots, covers, this, that, and, it's nothing new under the sun. If you look back, like, look how we have nothing but remakes now and covers now and samples now and stuff like that. That's just going to continue. One thing Quincy kept saying, like, is that we don't study the past, especially new artists and they don't study the past and see what was done before and whatnot. So everybody is just making this fast food stuff where, you could just, watch it, regurgitate it a little bit and move on.
But I think that music now, the artist has more pressure than artists back then had, I believe, because they're in these worse situations
I don't know if it's
than
worse.
artists had back in the day. Because most of these artists are not getting paid like you think they are.
Yeah, but there was
They-
a lot
they
of
really
but a
are.
lot of these artists weren't getting paid from Jump Street either.
Back in the day, I think they were making. I don't know.
Not all artists got their
back
fair
in the
share.
day, you're right about that. There's a lot of artists that didn't get paid, but I feel like these artists now have to work a lot more harder than back in the day
Okay.
because there's so much artists out here. You can go to a Beyonce concert, Jay-Z concert. You can go to a Bruno Mars concert. They could be performing the same hour, the same day. But back in the day, it was more like, all right, this artist has a tour, so we're not going to be in this city. Or this is going to be this way,
Right.
and this person is going to make this money this day.
Right.
That type of thing.
Yeah, but
now, it's so many artists, so many streams of music, and then you can't enjoy a person's album because another person's album's coming out.
That's not true.
How? Like,
Because, like I say, right now we're in fast food. We have so many options. Well, I think the only way to survive in the new landscape of entertainment is to stick to your niche. That's where you're gonna be able to grow. Because the fact, if you try to be,
But
all
they're artists.
Yes, they're artists. Yeah.
artists don't stay in one box. Artists,
No, they don't. But
they don't.
But do you consider Childish Gambino stuck in a hip hop niche, or is he just music?
Some people are different.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So as long as you got these artists who continue to create art, they will be able to stand out. Because Redbone didn't have a freaking music video, but that album went platinum how many times?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's really just about
So,
sticking.
so you're saying just good music is just good music?
Good music will always be good music, and shit music will always be shit music. We're always gonna have people who's doing it for the buck, and people who's just doing it because they love it, and that's what they just
But I
into the
don't
craft.
think artists can stay in a niche.
Yeah, but
I
here's
think
the thing, though. Here's the thing, because unlike back then,
because they don't want to feel like they're in a box.
no, but here's what I'm saying. Unlike back then, they don't have to rely on gatekeepers anymore to create the art they want to create. And it's great because if you watch Will Smith on YouTube, Will Smith was, I think, on his last video, his last vlog, he was discussing how he wasn't finding ways to be himself lately because he wanted to be creative, and he couldn't find that outlet. Because most times, you want to do something creative, you got to get, maybe a production company to help. You got to get this company that a whole bunch of sponsors. Yeah. And with YouTube, he was, for the first time, he's just able to just be himself and put the content that he wants to put together and put it online. Yeah. And now that's the freedom all artists have. You don't have to rely on the gatekeeper. And as long as you have a good subscriber base, at least from 1,000 to 100,000 followers and more, as long as you got that, you'll always have people who will buy your albums, who will come see your shows. You don't have to rely on 1 million people to come see you. Just 100,000 people come to see you, and it could get you $1 million if they're paying like $10 each or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And especially if they're like the faithful fans, like they see every movie, they buy every album, they buy whatever label product you just put out, whatever you start endorsing. Then you could be able to relax on that.
Do you think technology is making a plain, a straight playing field for everyone now? Like, do you feel like all people have an opportunity because what technology is giving us?
Well, I would say we're heading towards a smart future with dumb people.
Okay.
And I realized this recently because I work a lot in schools. I do a lot of freelancing where I take school photos for kids, graduation photos, sports photos, and everything like that. And I had an observation recently. I did like maybe 6 schools that was autistic kids, and these kids, autistic, like you have 1 or 2, kids who could sit still,
control themselves.
Yeah, but besides those 1 or 2 kids, out of all 6 schools, to me, all those kids were well behaved.
Yes.
Now, these last couple of schools that I did were full functioning kids that have all their, everything's intact.
Everything is intact. Yes.
These kids were losing their freaking mind. Like, I couldn't freaking believe these kids were the full functioning kids. Mm-hmm. Like, these kids were bugging out. Like, kidding to sit still. Kids control the volume of their voice, running up and down, left and right. Like, and I'm talking about down from like maybe the 4th, 5th grade down to the 8th, 9th grade. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, if children are the future, I'm terrified. I'm really, really terrified. Because here's the thing. Because I'm one of those guys who's actually excited about where things are going with the future with these smart devices. We got, especially we saw the CS 2018 this year. You saw we had like Toyota got the e-Pallet self-driving stores. Uh-huh. They got the Byton concept car, which is a self-driving car and everything like that. Like, I like the idea of, man, I want to get some new shoes today. I don't feel like going all the way to Foot Locker. You press the Foot Locker button and Foot Locker shows up to your block and you go shopping right there, get what you need, and it drives off. Yeah. And that, to me, it makes so much sense if the world is just going to get crazier and crazier, because who's going to really have the time to try to go all the way to the mall? And you remember Christmas time when I think it was Atlanta, but all those kids were running around just bugging out in the mall for no apparent reason at all. Like, there was no excuse for what was going on in there. It's like a lot of this stuff is going to keep coming. So I like the concept of like there's a lot of things that's not happening anymore. Arby's decided they're no longer using busboys anymore, because you got companies like LG creating robots for airports and hospitality businesses and whatnot. Like, who's gonna pay $15 an hour for somebody to flip a burger when you can pay a robot to do it for $2 an hour? It's a lot cheaper to do that, And so as an entrepreneur, it's good. It feels good. And the future excites me, but I'm afraid for the rest of the world, because these kids don't because every generation always look at the next generation crazy, like, oh, these kids don't know what they doing.
I don't think we should do that.
No. But the thing is, because I'm not saying, because I'm talking about the generation after the generation behind us, because they consider us millennials, right? Yes. There's another generation behind us, and I'm looking at the generation.
Baby boomers?
No, baby boomers before us.
Oh, so who's the?
I think it's something like Genellials or something like that. Or something like that.
Okay.
So those kids, the one after that one, is the one that I'm completely worried about. Because how many kids that we heard this year alone ate the Tide Pod? Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is like, we wasn't doing nothing like.
Well, it comes, I feel like these kids now are being more controlled than anything. Mm-hmm. Like, we're programmed individuals as human beings in America. We're very controlled by media, marketing, those type of things. And our kids are learning from us.
Right.
Some of the shit that we thought was normal when we were younger ain't normal now.
Right.
Like, these kids have phones at 7.
Right.
These kids are more close to technology
and
than
technologies keep changing.
Everything.
You got Samsung with their 3D cameras coming up. You got the saying car ownership will die in 2025.
I believe that people are not going to be driving cars soon.
They're not. Everything's being demonetized. The way
Uber is, if you are a taxi driver or you drive for Uber,
they got self-driving cars. They got self-driving cars coming too, and the helicopters.
Yeah. Or if you are with if you're doing a truck, you driving trucks and stuff, it's over for you. Like, that industry is done with. If they can pay,
FedEx is about to do self-driving cars as well.
If they can pay, if they can pay these cars, let's say,
not the car, but the manufacturing.
Yeah, the manufacturing companies, what?
Pennies on a dollar.
Pennies on a dollar to drive around their products and get home their safety, and using our data as human beings. That's what they use all the time. So if they can do that, why would they have you? They have to pay you $30,000 or $40,000 a year. Come on, like that's basic math right there.
Right.
And then a lot of people don't understand it's coming. It's not gonna stop. Like, when phones came, oh, what is this? This is something new. No, I don't want it. I want to stay with my flip phone. It came, it conquered.
Right.
What's next?
Right.
Driving cars, electric cars are gonna come. It's coming.
No, it's here. It's basically here. They got cities where they're testing this stuff out to make sure they don't crash and burn.
Solar panels, getting drones are coming. So it's we just have to be ready for it. We have to learn how to adapt. And that's
the world's gonna adapt. Look at. Did you see how fast everybody was down with the sex robots? Like, sex dolls isn't new, but the fact that they have full blown figure, because it's not like the sex dolls we saw as kids where it looked like somebody just blew up a balloon and that was it. Nah, they had these. Like, have you seen it? Like, some of these.
I have seen these.
Like, they move. They like, some of them talk and stuff like that. So you got self driving cars. You got sex robots or whatever. You got LG having robots in airports and hospitality spots and whatnot. You no longer going to the store. The store comes to you. You went over, like, it's like the whole world's going to change. Everything is going to be disrupted within the next 10 to 15 years.
Now, it's funny that you was talking about kids. Facebook has been, I don't know if they're launching it, but they have been talking about it, that they're thinking about coming out with a Facebook app for kids, a messaging app. I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that.
I'm kind of uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable with that. The rules will be that they will be... the parents will have control of the account to see who's calling them, who's messaging them, type of thing.
Which is a good idea.
I think that's a great idea, but it's a scary world out there. You don't know who that person is talking to. You don't know who's talking to your kid.
Right.
So that's a scary thing.
I think what the bug out. I think what only thing that I don't like about that idea is now Facebook have your kid basically.
Then they were saying that they're not going to use data.
That's the scary part.
Data and advertising for your kids. So it will be free advertising.
That's why I call bullshit. That's why I call bullshit.
You're right. I'll call that bullshit too. Because it's a business. And come on now.
You can take that information and you can figure out your consumer for the next 10, 20 years.
Yes.
While they're right now at age 5.
Yes. You're right. You can just data is gold. Data is gold.
And that's the world we live in right now. Everything's going towards data.
On Facebook, Instagram, any social media, going on the internet, it's figuring out what you like to consume, what do you listen to, and they're going to use that data to figure out how to get you to buy products. That is what the game is all about. Data is gold.
And that's actually the minimum what's going on, because you got to think about, they talk about in 2045, you might be able to take your consciousness and transfer it like data into another body, which is crazy to me. Like, this was on, I believe it was Time Magazine. It's like 2045, man might be able to become immortal at that point. Like, you get to an accident, you get sick, they'll be able to take your consciousness from your brain or whatever and literally put it on a hard drive and take that data and put it elsewhere, where you can live forever through technology, which is scary because now y'all just trying to figure out how to become gods at this point.
Yes, they definitely are. I was just thinking about how media is changing. Like, everyone, we used to, first it was radio, then it was television, now it was computers, now it's your phone, now Facebook has Facebook Watch now, where you can watch, they have different contracts with different companies like NBA games, baseball, National Geographic. They have partnership with them that they're going to show their content on it now. And I think that makes a good playing field for creators who create content.
Right.
Just like I'm just thinking about if this was a couple of years ago when Money and Violence was on its peak, and they had Facebook Watch, it would have been a sensation bigger than what it was going on YouTube. Now they can have the conversation. Like, this conversation you can have watching with your friends is an amazing experience.
Like live.
Yes.
Live.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's incredible.
Right.
I think that, it's changing the game of you watching regular television. I think cable is going to be out. I think if someone has cable now, they have to be over 50 years old.
Right.
Over 50 years old has cable now. Anybody younger than that is with a Fire Stick or a streaming device.
Anybody under maybe 35, I would say that.
You think people in 40 have cable?
I think people, because you gotta remember, like, the streaming thing is still very young. It's like what, 5-6 years maybe right now at this point. So like, and 5-6 years ago, anybody who's like 40 was in their mid 30s, and they like, they're coming from the generation of DirecTV, satellites,
Yes.
TiVo and stuff
Yes.
like that. You know what I mean?
I wonder. I wonder. You could say.
I mean, the reason why I
think
say that because
35.
I got the only reason why I say that because I have older brothers, and I talk to my older brothers about things like that.
How old is your older brother?
I have one brother that's like I think that's about to be in his 50s or whatever, and I have another one that's in his 40s.
Okay,
And they use Fire Sticks and all that, but if they didn't have children, I don't think they would know of these devices. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now my older brother, not the oldest one, but my older brother Levio, he's a tech guy, so me and him are like on the same wave when it comes to
He
tech.
understands that.
He understands and everything like that. But what I say the disconnect is because it's not even just him. Because even I was talking to my nephew the other day about this. We was talking about apps like Movie Anywhere and Vudu and all these other movie retailer apps, and we were having a discussion about. I was telling him why I prefer having my movies digitally compared to going to buy a disc to see a movie these days.
Yes.
And they were stuck on like, oh, I like to have the physical product in my hand, and I'm like, well, technically with Vudu or iTunes or wherever you download these movies, you can still download these movies to your devices, whether it's your iPhone, your PlayStation, your laptop. So it's not like you're not having that physical. And it's not. And because my thing is, as a filmmaker, you don't own the movie. You bought a disc. So technically, you just got the license to see that movie on that disc. So to me, like as the future's going on, because as time gone, we seen, especially in our generation, we saw how things changed fast from DVD, and from DVD to try to do the HD DVD, and then Blu-ray became the main thing, and then here we are going to digital now is UHD, 4K. You know, they're always going to try to find some new way of distribution.
They have a TV coming out, I think next year is 8K.
Oh God, you see what I mean? So like, I'd rather have things digital because go straight to my device and I don't have to keep rebuying things over and over. You know how many times I rebought Scarface? I bought Scarface at least 4 times. I bought Scarface when it was a bootleg. I got another Scarface when I had the Def Jam Anniversary Platinum DVD. Then I bought it again on Blu-ray. Then I bought it again on digital. And I'm like, from now on, I'm just gonna buy everything on digital. I'm not gonna take up space in my room. I don't have that much space in here to be having more DVD cases. Remember my old room, and I had all those DVDs in one spot. Remember how much it took up one space of my room?
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense. So when I look at towards the future of how we can consume things, I notice there's a disconnect. The next generation after us, not my nephew generation, but the nephew after that, they're going to be the first generation that completely takes digital off there's no more cable after that. I can tell you now, when those kids who are like in elementary school now, when they become our age in their mid-20s, there won't be no more cable. They probably won't be even smartphones at that point. They'll find a new device to talk to and to communicate through. You know what I mean?
I think that's where this is my prediction. My prediction 5 years from now, everyone will have a
like a Roku device.
No, everyone will have a Alexa and Siri in their house.
Right.
I believe everyone's gonna have one. I think that's the next engine where everyone is gonna have an assistant,
Right.
a AI assistant,
Right.
Everyone, and I think that's where technology is reaching us at.
Right.
Like you can wake up in the morning and you can say, Siri, what is the weather outside? What is going on in the world? Just saying one word is changing the game, and that saves you time. That's very important for a lot of people.
Right.
So I believe that AI assistance is the future.
I think there's maybe a generation that may not even step out their house. Like,
Oh yes,
like
20 years from now, yes.
Maybe 20. I'm thinking about maybe 10. Think about Facebook Portal. Remember what Facebook Portal is? The way they're trying to get people to communicate through VR and stuff like that?
Yes.
Once people find a way to earn a living from home through these devices, you're never going to leave your house. There's going to be only a few generations. Like our generation is probably going to be the only generation, and the generation that was before us, maybe the only generation that still want to go outside and physically be.
That's why I say 20 years from now.
I don't think it's going to be that long.
I think these kids will be outside. 20 years from now,
These
then
kids don't
I
wanna
think
come outside now, bro.
I think it will change.
20
years. I don't think
I think 10.
I don't
man.
think.
I think it's
I
10.
enjoy VR. I enjoy VR, but I don't think people.
But see, you grew up in a generation where you actually went outside and played. I
Yes.
was there with you. I
Yes.
know.
But a lot of people.
These kids now, they don't come outside. They play with that iPad and they stay indoors.
But a lot of people. I think 20 years from now, a lot of people are going to be playing in their VR worlds or
Right.
universe
Or
or
their
whatever.
AR.
Yes,
Yeah.
wherever they are. But it's going to take time to get there. But 20 years. 10, I don't know. I don't know. I think we're reaching there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like, 20 tops.
20?
Yeah, 20.
So by the time we're like 47, 48,
Yeah.
we're going to see nobody
outside.
coming outside no more.
I think the world would be a quiet place.
Right.
Very quiet. And I think a lot of things will be...
No longer the norm.
Yes.
It won't be the norm to have somebody behind the wheel anymore.
Yes.
It won't be the norm to go actually date a person in person.
I think people are going to live longer. Now it matters what you're putting in your body if you're going to live longer. Because I think, like our parents worked 60 hours a week. Now we work, 20 hours, 40 hours. I think our kids are going to work 20 hours. And then after that, I think people are going to work 4 hours a week. Because I think life is going to change totally.
Everything's going to be demonetized.
Technology is just going to take over. And I know a lot of people are scared of that, but I wouldn't be scared of that. I would try to put myself in a place where I'm not suffering, and I put my kids in a place where they're not suffering. So I think that's very important for people. What's the next one?
I think that was the last one.
Oh, okay.
But my thing is, I'm going to end it off with this. The future could be a great place. It could be a scary place. And I'm all for it. I like movies like Blade Runner, so I like the idea of a cool technological focused future. But the only thing I'm probably just worried about is mankind at this point. How will mankind react to the future? You know what I mean? Because I think, if anything, the point I'm trying to get to is now, if you're not an entrepreneur yet, this is probably the time to become an entrepreneur, because you need to start setting yourself up for the future now.
Yes.
Because
a lot of jobs are going to be out of here.
Right.
A lot of jobs, and they're going to be controlled by your AI.
Everything's going to be automated.
It's automated. It's over with.
Right.
Like these basic jobs, you work in a fast food restaurant or you working anywhere, they're going to robots. It's over with. So you have to start setting yourself up. You have to be a creator, or you have to have a product, or you have to have something, a service or something. It's time for you to change the game. And change your master plan. Like, it's time. Because it's coming.
There's not going to be no more dead-end jobs. Nobody's going to be able to go to McDonald's and... Well, shoot, back in the day, maybe working at McDonald's, you could be able to pay your bills. But shoot, in the future, not even the future now, with the kiosk and stuff and whatnot, and I've seen robots that know how to flip burgers. You're not gonna be able to maintain a living on those type of jobs. Like, this is the perfect time to become an entrepreneur, because if you set yourself up now to become an entrepreneur, by the time, because you can't become you could try to become an entrepreneur overnight, but it's going to take time. But if you start working on it now, within 10, 15 years, when you finally figured out how to make things work, you could figure it out before 10, 15 years, but I'm saying by that point, you should accumulate enough wealth or, a lifestyle to maintain by the time where everything is automated and we're paying for nothing but subscription services to everything. You'll be able to afford a new way of living. Because the way we're affording to live life now, I can guarantee it's not going to be the same how people are going to find a way to afford to live life later. You know what I mean? Like right now, you got your rent, you got your car bills, you this, your that. Now imagine that there's nothing but technology. Like you can't use it's the best way to explain it is like right now you don't pay your phone bill, you get cut off your phone. So imagine if your whole life is that way. Everything about your life is connected to an account that you have to pay for everything about your life. You can't just walk outside no more. You have to take a self-driving Uber or a helicopter, self-flying helicopter or something like that. You can't just go to the store. Well, technically, at this point of our life, it's not like you can go to a tree and pick an apple. You have to go buy an apple in these days. So just imagine if that's where life is now, where life is going to be in the future if you don't start taking care of your financial independence now. You know what I mean? So it's not just about having money and being rich. It's literally being able to take care of whatever lifestyle is going to be in the next few years. Basically, that's what I'm just trying to tell you guys right now. You got to start thinking about not the lifestyle you have today, but your lifestyle in the next few years.
You have to think about 5 years from now. A lot of us think about right now, and we need to start thinking about what are we going to leave our children, and where are we going to be at 5 years from now.
Right.
And just look how life changing. 2007, the first iPhone came out.
Right.
Now they have 10 of those.
When you really think about it, look how much the world has changed since 2007. I was 17 years old at the time. Everything was feeling brand new. We had MySpace at that time. The sidekicks, the T-Mobile
MySpace
sidekicks,
ain't here.
right? Sidekicks are not here no more. Like
you got to think about
the BlueBerry, the BlackBerry. Remember the BlackBerry phone with the keypad?
Yes.
No, now there's no phones with a keypad.
Yes.
No keypad at all on any new phones.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the world is changing, and it's changing really, really fast. So if you thought these last 10 years is crazy, I know the next 10 years is going to be crazy.
Next 10 years is going to be crazy.
So you got to have your lifestyle up to par. Got to at least have some money so you can have, like, perfect. My prime example I want to say right now, look at Bitcoin right now. Now, of course, in hindsight, we all saying the same thing. Oh, if I knew, I would have got it earlier. Blah, 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 blah. Now, the funny thing to me is, like, because, the guys who behind Bitcoin, they're really smart. They realize if they change the value of it, they could get more money out of it.
One question. Mm-hmm. They're brothers, right?
I believe so.
Are they the brothers from Facebook?
No, I don't think so. I gotta check that. I gotta check again. I'm not sure. I gotta look.
Because
what's the last name?
I forgot their last name.
I gotta look that up.
But they twins, and I'm over here like, yo, is these the Facebook brothers?
I gotta check into that. I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
But I was just thinking about back in the day when people started creating currency, the fiat dollars that we have now, and I realized how they did the ultimate switch with the Bitcoins. Because back then, a couple years ago with the Bitcoins, they wasn't worth like 20 grand for one Bitcoin. Actually $1 could get you a whole bunch of Bitcoins back then. You know what I mean? And all they did was switch the perception of how much it's worth.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going crazy over Bitcoin, and to the point where people are starting companies and just robbing everybody, like BitConnect and stuff.
I think the technology of Bitcoin is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know just about Bitcoin. I think that's kind of I wouldn't jump into that.
Right.
But what I say is that I think that the big chain, that's what they call it, the big chain, I believe. Mm-hmm. I think that the technology is fucking amazing, and it will start fucking wars.
Right. That's
wars. They have no laws for none of that stuff.
Not yet. They're
none
trying,
of that.
They're figuring
Governments can't control how much money you send into someone. It's tax free. You're not being taxed
for now.
So I think the technology is incredible.
I think,
but if you get that technology in the wrong hands, like it's in right now, you're gonna have a problem.
Well, I think where money is going, I don't think we're going to have a physical currency in a few years.
No, I believe that.
And I knew that before the whole, Bitcoin been around for a while, but if you really been paying attention to how things are, especially in our day and age, when I became a teenager, before I got my debit card, I was buying Amazon gift cards, iTunes gift cards, and stuff like that. And I was just using, I didn't carry physical cash. All my money was in my debit cards once I started getting debit cards and whatnot. And now, here we are in a generation where we're using our payphones to buy things. There's going to be a generation where nobody have cash anymore. Everything's just going to be digitally electronic, and your whole life is going to be depending on the internet and tech at the end of the day. So that's why I'm saying, guys, make sure you work on, become an entrepreneur. Make a lifestyle, build some assets. So in the future, when these things come about, you're ready, you're set, and you don't have to worry about how to survive in this new world. But that's it for now. This is America You So Crazy. We'll be back next week because, of course, America will still be crazy next week. Any last words, Reg?
Add me. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat at King Reggie, VCR.
And you guys can find me at callinmill.com and Callin Mill anywhere on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Until next time, much love, God bless, 2 pieces of chicken grease. Later,
Peace
guys.
and blessings.